If you're a solopreneur, I would strongly suggest don't compete with the guys that are charging 8 to 10 grand a month. You can do it at a fraction of what they're charging because you can use these tools to reduce your costs. And by doing that, you can pass it on to the customer.
You're listening to Brainwork Framework, a business and marketing podcast brought to you by focus-biz.com.
Welcome back to another episode. With us today is the founder and digital marketer of HJR Creative, Marco Assanti. They help medical practices get more patients without the marketing headache. So excited to have him on today. Marco, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us.
I'm great. Thanks for having me on here, Chris. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. So we always like to ask our entrepreneurs, what were you doing before that kind of led you into what you're doing today?
Okay, so I'm from Sydney, Australia, if you haven't noticed my accent. And I grew up in a place just west of Sydney called the Blue Mountains. It was a bit of a rural setting, but my father had an advertising business. And back those days, I don't know if you have it in the States, but when you go shopping, you have that big long docket. So he was the first one in Australia to be advertising on the back of those dockets for all sorts of things, but mostly for holidays and travel. So I grew up around that advertising space, and it just sort of led me into a career of business, some good, some bad. And it sort of ignited a bit of a passion in me of what actually makes a business tick. Not internally the workings, but actually what brings people in the door. So that's what sparked my curiosity in actually taking a career within advertising.
Very nice. So it sounds like you had some influence from family before, father owning that advertising agency. And did that kind of give you the entrepreneurial itch? You learned some marketing. You said, I guess I'm kind of good at this stuff. Let me take it to that next level. When did you officially go into business for yourself? And then take me through that growth period of first starting to where you are now.
Great. Yeah, I had multiple businesses up until the age of 28. Only one of them was successful. It was a range in the food business, wholesale business. We even did merchandise. I've tried a lot of different things. And then I went into the corporate world and I worked for a big wholesale brand as a national retail manager. I think it was almost 7 years I worked with them. And actually they were bought out by an American company. And when I saw how that world works at scale, it kind of deflated my spirit a little bit. It just wasn't me. I know it's okay for most, but for me, it deflated the energy that I wanted to put into it. So I moved into a wholesale business and we were supplying Queensland, New South Wales, and Victoria. So to give you an idea, Australia is massive. We're almost kind of the size of Europe. So it's a big place. This is on the east coast of Australia where the weather's warm. We hug the coast. We don't have any borders. The water's our border. So it's not like they can go and get lots of this stuff from overseas. So I had a nice unfair advantage. And I did that for many years. But then COVID hit in 2020 and virtually everyone sat at home and our business pretty much ceased to exist. So we closed the doors. And that was a real experience for me because we virtually had to go through an administration process. And so for me, thank God we didn't have any debt, but it's like a real blow to the ego to go through bouncing off the bottom. I'm 43 and this happened. It was a really difficult scenario in my life. I also just got married. So for me, it was such a blow. I never really wanted to do business again. I just thought I quit. I just don't even want to get back up. That's the truth. And then slowly my wife encouraged me to let's get back into it. Let's do something. And I think slowly over the space of 12 months, we started to see if we could turn it into a business, what we knew about advertising and marketing and doing it online. And slowly we started doing it for a few people and they got pretty good results. And then it gave us the confidence to go and use them as testimonials and ask other people for their business. It just snowballed from there. It's been a process of 5.5 years now of growing this thing. And I'm really proud of where it got to today. And I'm glad I got back into it and didn't just hang up the boots and say, I'm done.
Absolutely. But I think for many entrepreneurs, we have those successes and failures. We've gone in and out of business before, but to get back in it, get that success again, really feeling like you're helping people, it's a great accomplishment and it gives you passion and drive for continuing forward. But after the 5-6 years of experience now, you're doing what most people generally recommend is niche down, find your ideal client, really develop that offer and messaging that you're putting together. So now you specifically help doctors. Tell me more about the client that you serve, how you're helping them, and then how that service kind of looks like.
Sure. We niche down into medical services, which covers like a broad range. I particularly work with nerves. So anyone with nerve issues, there's a range of them that are usually being serviced by chiropractors. Now, this particular niche found me. I didn't go and look for it. I had a particular client that was a chiropractor and had some different services. And we just kind of have a bit of an unfair advantage because over the process, I think probably 18 months it's taken me to hone my skills at these particular services, but it's kind of new and it's really difficult for doctors personally to trust that there's a process that can actually work because there is an upfront cost. And also the fact that they're getting real qualified patients coming through the door, because I think a lot of the time they've kind of been blasted with 50, 60, 70 leads coming in a week, but they're just junk. So it's how do we qualify them better? And this is where I've been able to help. And it's not just in actually getting the patient in the door. We actually look at the sales process, who's answering the phone. This is also another huge one, right? So you can't have Mary, that's the receptionist, taking your calls when it could be $170 a lead and you've got Mary answering the phone. No, we've got to give this to a professional. So I'm a partner with Smith AI, if you haven't heard of them. It's not an AI company, although they're leading that way. It's a call center in North America, and we leave it to the professionals. Like when you're paying for leads, you want to close them. You want to make sure they're highly qualified. So I guess what I'm saying is I've been able to work the process from actually someone clicking on an ad to what happens when they book in the calendar, to how do we follow up? How do we reduce no-show rates? How do we actually get them on the phone and then get them in the office and showing to them we can actually solve your problem. So that's what I've been working on particularly.
I love that because it really takes that beginning stage of the top of funnel. How do we get more leads into how do they actually become a client and a patient for them? And all those moments in between, from that moment they click the ad, if they provide information, what landing page, the communication or touch points that you're having, all of those really factor into, is this person qualified and can they be a good fit as a patient and a client? And to find all those sticking points and the friction that was in that process to remove it, that's huge because now you're improving results, you're increasing conversions, and you're demonstrating here's your actual return on investment with marketing. Hey, you got patient X, Y, and Z through this, and they paid you how much? Okay, now let's cross-reference that. That's just a part of doing great marketing, caring about your clients, caring about the results. So kudos to you for doing that. Now, you mentioned a little bit about your process, but how do doctors actually attract more well-qualified patients who can actually become clients?
Yes, super good question. First thing is I would probably not advertise on Facebook. It's really three main parts. One, Facebook works as a retargeting tool, in my experience, for particularly this nerve service. So usually in the States, it's well-trodden path that chiros will just literally, let's go do Facebook leads. They're cheap. Let's get them in the door. But for more niche services, you really need to understand the position that someone in pain is in. And you can't do that on Facebook because essentially the people that are there are there to be social. So the intent level's different, right? And if you're on social media, I don't really want you to disrupt me, or I may not be ready in that moment. The sales cycle's a lot longer. Where with Google ads, you're at the bottom of the funnel. You know what I mean? You're like, where is a pain doctor now? Pain management. I am like, seriously want this fixed now. So in a lot of cases, they've been struggling for years and they might see an ad that resonates with them and they're just ready to go because they want to solve this problem. So intent is a big part of it. The second thing is most people, I'm embarrassed to say it, but I'm just going to say it because you guys in the US don't mind being forward. Your websites are crap. Like, you guys are the most sophisticated doctors. You have so much experience, so much knowledge, and yet you present yourself in a way that is so bad. And I see it all the time. I can't use your website. And I'm not going to go and say spend $3,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 on a website. It's ridiculous. So we build a landing page. And for me, quite honestly, I have an unfair advantage. I have spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars of sending traffic to landing pages that I built. I have an unfair advantage in this niche. I know what works. And I can tell you, like when you get it right, you can be converting at almost 10% when you're sending traffic there. So it really does work. I skip the whole your website's crap thing and I just build the landing page. So that's stage 2. Stage 3 is actually not everyone that gives you their details are actually ready to make an appointment right there and then. They can get distracted because generally they're an older clientele. What happens when they don't make a booking? You've paid for the lead, it's come through. You have to have some form of follow-up. So for me, the big part of in this lead machine is following them up with email marketing. So this is a really tailored approach. And I know AI is playing a big role, but this has to be personal. So when we're helping them, we really go into the email that these patients are getting and we speak to them like the doctor. It's from the doctor. So it's personal. We're addressing the fact that we understand who they are. And I think this approach has really worked for me. And in the last 18 months, I've really sort of dialed it in and I know it works. So that's essentially what we do for the services.
That is a fantastic way to position yourself. With this example, it's like, let's not redo the entire website. Let me just take the specific traffic that I know I'm going to be getting for you, and let's put them into a more high converting funnel that I know is going to work and convert, because we can't trust the lead information to go to this website, and you can't trust Mary, although she does a fantastic job at everything else. Just following up and appointment setting is not their expertise. And it's just that speed to lead that a lot of people need for going from that interest to let me make a commitment and let me follow through with it. And you've really dialed in that process to get better results and be able to copy paste this into other businesses, other medical practices, showing, hey, do you want results like this? Well, let's set this up and get started. With you being in business, what's been the best way for you as your own business to capture and nurture your leads? Because obviously medical professions are like B2C, you're B2B. So you're either running ads or building relationships or speaking, doing podcasts. What's been most effective for you?
All of the above. I'm only new to advertising our business, which sounds kind of counterintuitive because we're in advertising, but most of my business has come from referrals. So that has always been where the lead flow has come from. And quite honestly, I haven't wanted to grow at a rapid rate. I really wanted to hone my skills. And I think that's what I've always done in business. And it's strange because I guess the result of it is that you get a good business. But for me, taking a long time to really understand what I'm doing. So I'm leading with trust because I really feel like not just medical, although it's a lot of sharks in medical and they charge a lot of money. I certainly don't do that. But I think you have to make things very transparent. So whether that's an ad for myself getting more doctors in the nerve space, or whether it's giving out a free piece of content on the website, I want to build trust. And so how do I build trust? I'm really transparent. We had one case now, which I've got on the website, where we actually fully walked down exactly what we did for this one doctor. And just with a couple of things, man, he went from a very small amount of money to doing 6 figures a month. And it's life-changing, right? So for me, referrals have been the best way to get business in. But I also don't want to lean on my clients and say, can you send me some more business? It's a bit weird and somewhat contrived. So I do run ads, and it's taken a few iterations to get it right. Mainly, I'm able to do advertising because I've got some testimonials from real world cases that have actually helped. And so from that, again, you're building trust through transparency, and I'm just putting that message out there. Traditionally, that's actually how I'm doing it. It's pretty much the same way I'm doing it for the doctors.
No, that's fantastic because one, I like that you take the multi-channel approach. You can't really rely on just one channel because you never know when that is going to change in the quantity or quality of the
Yeah.
referrals coming in for any channel as well. And just a testament to the work that you do, the fact that you get more and more referrals and that a large majority of your business is referrals. It's a testament to the work that you're delivering on the results, and you're communicating. They love working with you. So it's a huge testament to everything that you're doing. Where can people find out more about you, get connected with you online?
Sure. The best spot to get me is at Dr. Marketing, which is drmarket.ing. And there's some videos on there of me. You can get an idea. I'm also able to do an audit for you via the website. And I think that's the best way because you can book in a 15-minute call with me on the website, or you can purchase an audit. But I'm going to do something at the end for listeners or someone that might benefit from it. But essentially, that's the best way. You don't have to do business with me, but I think most people could really benefit from just understanding what's going on. Again, it's this transparency thing, and it shouldn't be this very specific jargon and hard to understand language. There's only 4 or 5 metrics that they need to understand. And as soon as they get it, they'll realize, oh, that makes so much sense. Okay, that's clear. I understand. That's how much a lead's worth. That's how much I've been paying to get impressions. So once they understand a few of those metrics, it becomes part of the business. It's part of their weekly agenda to check. Again, straight on the website is the easiest place to book in a call. And I'm doing no obligation 15-minute call on there.
Very nice. We'll have those links available down in the description and show notes for everyone to get connected. And you mentioned before a little bit about AI and just the changing of technology and tools. Are you utilizing any AI either in your business or your personal life, or maybe for some of the client work that you're doing?
I am. I am ashamed to say that I don't remember life before ChatGPT.
None of us can remember what that was like.
I cannot understand how life progressed. I don't remember a pre-ChatGPT time. So I think if I talk about my practice and then sort of our business and then for doctors, it's too much to process. There's too much change. And if I go through any of those details and the application it can have for them, it's just too hard. But the thing that it can have an effect on their business is that it actually, for us as marketers, it actually reduces our headcount. So I'm actually going to try and scale the business to a point where I actually don't need any employees. We had employees, and I actually use AI to virtually get most of this stuff done automatically. Now, it's not saying that it's less care, but the person with the knowledge and the time in the seat of understanding how it works is overseeing it. So for me, the benefit of AI is the fact that I'm able to basically scale my business as a solo. I can get to a number of clients that works for me, works for them without dropping quality, which is traditionally what happens as an agency grows, right? You put on a head count, you don't talk to the clients anymore. And that's the reason why I have a business, because they get sick of it and they call me and go, hey, John's not calling me anymore. Okay, easy, no worries, I'm here. So the idea for me is I want to use AI to scale the business while still interacting with the client and looking at kind of a helicopter view of how the business is going. And that's how I'm using AI to scale.
Love that AI is just another tool in our toolbox, like other software or applications that we had access to. And I always compare it to mechanics, where they used to hand turn wrenches, and then they had more pneumatic, and then they had air compression. So it's like just this evolution in tools, it can allow you to complete tasks and jobs a lot faster without sacrificing that quality. You're still having a human inspect and test everything, and now it's just allowing you to do a lot more. But AI is a fantastic tool. I'm using it for myself as well. Hard to remember what life was like before AI existed. It's crazy.
It's crazy. And the one tip I would say, if you're a marketer out there, you're probably already doing it, but if you're not, you should take advantage of ChatGPT tasks. So at the moment, this is the one big tip that's been able to help me scale. Is how do you stay relevant? Like, we all know that pretty soon search is going to be done through Perplexity or ChatGPT, but you can start seeing the hockey stick puck move to virtually search now being on these AI platforms. So what does that actually mean? I think you need to really stay super current with how Google Ads is changing. And the way that I do that is I just set up a task with an engineered prompt. For Google Ads, I want ChatGPT to send me every day a highly advanced Google ad tactic. So currently looking at how it's changing and sending it to me. So I do this and I implement it in the business daily. I also take those tasks and I'm able to turn them into a guide, a very complex guide that you couldn't give to anyone else, but I can then give that to an agent. I can train the agent with this highly skill set of Google Ads and also in-stream stuff. I also do YouTube, and it's certainly where the money's going in 2025. And then that agent can then now start deploying some of the optimizations and strategies that I would have to train someone. Like, it would take more than 12 months easily to get to that skill set level. I can train someone now probably in less than 5 minutes with this piece of content. So that's actually how I'm using it to scale. But tasks are amazing.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to see where AI is going to take us and just using it in our everyday lives. It's cool because it's now giving the solopreneurs and small businesses access to these tools that the big chains and the real big box companies had access to, or the resources to be able to afford. now we're able to grow and scale a lot smarter using AI.
And also the flow on effect is that it should reduce the costs of marketing. So if you're a solopreneur, I would strongly suggest don't compete with the guys that are charging 8 to 10 grand a month. You can do it at a fraction of what they're charging because you can use these tools to reduce your costs. And by doing that, you can pass it on to the customer. You're getting more goodwill and you're staying in the front seat of the most important thing, the client.
Yep, that is exactly right. Absolutely. Now, before we ask our last question to Marco here about what he is looking forward to in 2025, a word from our sponsors. If you're looking to double your organic leads and nurture and book them on autopilot using AI, make sure you visit focus-biz.com to learn more. Now, Marco, 2025 is coming around. You've got a lot of things working and cooking, and you're putting yourself out there more. What are you most excited about with going into 2025 here?
I think coming to America, we're actually gearing up, my wife and I, to spend some time in the States and meet some clients and attend some conferences around the niche that we're in. But I'm really excited to spend some time where most of the news in the world is coming out of at the moment and just understand a little bit more about the sentiment to business. So it's very different to Australia. We don't have a sentiment for business. We have a sentiment for get a good job and never leave it and basically do as little as possible. So I really love the culture in America, how you've got this, like, let's just do it. Let's smash it. Let's make it work. And that really resonates with me. So I'm actually really looking forward to spending some time there this year.
Well, the USA is going to welcome you with open arms, Marco. We would
Thank
love
you.
your energy here and everything that you're bringing out to the world. If we can be of any positive or negative influence on you, the USA would be happy to contribute to that.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, Marco. We appreciate you coming on and sharing your tips and tricks and wisdom with us. One last thing, we want to offer you the floor. Anything we haven't touched on yet, anything you're really passionate about or excited for that we haven't mentioned here yet on the show?
If there is someone out there looking for any services, we have this website where you've got some great information there about how everything we've spoken about today is available and exactly how we scaled these clinics. So if it's something you think you might be interested in, feel free to download it. In that download, there's actually a free audit link. So you can actually get the audit for free, which is like pretty chunky. We go through a video audit and that's yours forever. You get to keep it. And we really sort of unpack everything that's going on. Even if you're not in the medical field and there's another region that you're in or another niche, feel free to use it. It's for your listeners.
I love that. And make sure everyone out there go check out the case studies here because these are real life examples of clients of theirs where they weren't where they wanted to be. They needed to get to this next level. They were struggling and Marco got them there. So check out the case study. Get the free audit because this is going to help you. All the recommendations there are going to be from real life experience and examples here. Marco, we appreciate all of your time. So excited to watch you grow and for all of your future business endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.